Hi, this is Dr. Rebecca Cooper, and we're just going to be discussing the psychological effects of COVID in this video. COVID can be devastating mentally and emotionally and spiritually as well as physically, and it really is one of those illnesses where all of those areas intertwine with each other, and it's just so important, I think, to take note of and to discuss the mental and psychological effects of COVID. So first, we are not used to seeing death and to be seeing so much of death and so many young people dying and so many people affected by death, and that can really affect our emotional and mental state. If we ourselves get sick, we're not sure how sick we're going to be. Are we going to be fine? Will we end up in hospital? Will we die? And there's a lot of uncertainty created around that. There's also the distance and not being able to see people, not being able to come into contact with people, not being able to hug and touch people and meet with our friends, and it all really has a psychological impact. So I just wanted to share with you some things to help, and this we wrote a booklet, myself, Samantha Harding, as a physiotherapist, and Shelley Hall, a psychologist, and I will attach the links to that booklet. And if you're in and around the Empangeni, Richards Bay area and you recognize that you're really struggling, I would recommend that you get in contact with Shelley Hall. She's an excellent psychologist, and she will be able to have some discussions and help you. But this is just really a brief introduction or a brief discussion on some of the things that you can do if you are struggling with feeling overwhelmed by COVID. And the first thing is to set your routine. And the reason that matters is because so much of COVID is outside of our control. The world is not in our control anymore, and so many things are changing so quickly, and we find it very difficult to deal with that. But if you have a routine and you set a routine that you stick to, your brain is getting some experience of control. So that helps to just sort of ground our brains a little bit and help us to feel like we are in control of something. So routine is very important. Second thing is managing your social media. If you're on lockdown or you're at home, and it's so easy just to scroll through Facebook, scroll through Instagram, scroll through the news, and either we get terrified because we see how many cases there are, we see how many this person's died and that person's died and this has happened, and we feel overwhelmed because there's nothing that we can do about it. And we can feel upset that other people's lives seem to be unaffected where ours are not. So please just manage your social media, manage how much time you spend, where you look, what you read, and really choose healthy things that are going to make you feel better, as opposed to things that are just going to upset you or make you feel worse. Stay in contact with your friends and family. Thank goodness for WhatsApp video calling, or for Teams or Zoom or whatever, Skype, whatever method it is. Thank goodness that we have the ability to video call people. And please, when you feel down and you feel overwhelmed, your instinct, or my instinct at least, is to withdraw. And I don't want to talk to people, particularly those closest to myself, because I feel like I'm just holding things together, and they will be able to recognize that I'm not okay and I'm not willing to admit yet. But please contact your friends, contact your family, speak to people. Be aware of what you eat and what you do. When we're in lockdown, it's easy just to eat and watch TV. But then we get even more overwhelmed. So we eat because we're overwhelmed. We eat because it's something that we control. It's something that we actively make choices about. But it makes us feel worse because we just see ourselves gaining more and more and more weight. And we get even more depressed, and becomes an active cycle, a downward spiral. So be aware of what you're eating. Be aware of doing exercise, and it can be very difficult, but there are some things that you can do at home. YouTube it, Google it. There are many things on the internet about exercises that you can do at home. Give yourself space to fall apart. It's okay to not be okay all the time. It's okay to have a moment where you just feel totally overwhelmed. that's fine. And things that can help you are, for example, mindfulness, which is really about you controlling your breathing. So you sit down, you are quiet and peaceful, and you just breathe. And you focus on your breathing in and out. And the thoughts and the emotions may come, but you don't focus on those. You don't let them overwhelm you. You just take deep breaths. You focus on the breathing. And it just gives you a bit of a space to recenter. So I think, as I said, this is not my forte, and I am not a psychologist. I'm a general practitioner, so I'm much more comfortable with discussing the physical, but it must be acknowledged that COVID has significant mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological effects. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, if you are feeling like you are drowning in anxiety or just not sure what is going on, please get in touch with someone. Contact a psychologist, contact a counselor at church, contact someone with some training that you can talk to. As I said, if you're in and around Mpangeni, Shelley Hall is an excellent psychologist. She is doing online sessions. Please reach out and speak to someone if you are struggling.